Hey guys, it's Casey and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to go over with you guys the latest stimulus update and stimulus package information that we have as of July 16th, 2020. Now, I don't want to say a lot of things that you guys have already seen in previous videos, but I do want to give you a very clear and concise and succinct video that kind of goes over exactly what we know as of the very latest of what we believe is going to be in the package and when we believe it's going to be passed and what we believe is not going to be in the package. So let's just hop right into this. So Congress comes back next week from their 2-week-long recess, and Senate Majority Leader McConnell, who's part of the Republicans, has stated that they are going to strongly look at a second stimulus check. Now keep in mind that the Senate Majority Leader McConnell and the Republicans are the kind of the third wheel of the three between the presidents and the Senate and the House of Representatives. So kind of the third wheel that was, I should say the third piece that was against providing a second stimulus check, at least originally back in the April and the June and so forth. And so now that they're on board with this, we can almost guarantee that there is going to be a second stimulus check. Now there are a lot of discrepancies and a lot of things that aren't quite clear as to how much it's going to be and what those limits are going to be. Now I'm sure you guys have seen videos online already and read articles that stated that as of right now, McConnell has said that they want it to be a maximum limit of $40,000 income. So if you have less than that, then they're going to provide you that check. But there's a lot of other discussions that they've pretty much stated that that's not going to take place. A lot of the studies show that approximately half of the people who are unemployed made less than $40,000. So I think that that's why they're focusing on that number. But there's also articles that are stating that that number is going to be higher. So they're probably going to maybe do it around $60,000, $50,000 limit. But as of right now, those numbers are going to be the 40,000. Now, we can confirm that there is going to be some form of direct payment, like I stated. Both parties have been on board with that. We just need to try to figure out if there's going to be anything additional with that. What we do know is that it's not going to be a recurring payment. So Canada, our little brother, if you will, or I should say our big brother, whatever, let's go with little brother, right? So their government had been providing them monthly stimulus checks for like 6 months recurring. That's crazy. Now, why they did that, obviously they felt that they needed to do that, whereas Congress here has just provided one additional check, but we did get a larger unemployment amount added to our weekly unemployment that I don't believe Canada received, so it actually kind of worked out. Well, in addition to that, we have not received confirmation that that is going, speaking of unemployment, we have not received confirmation that that is going to be extended. Now, here's why this is very, very important. Now, we still have a ridiculous amount of people who are unemployed, as everyone knows and everyone is talking about. We still have approximately 35 million people that are unemployed. Now, the unemployment benefits that I'm sure everyone knows by now are set to expire at the end of this month. Congress has said verbally that they're not going to extend it, but part of me thinks that that's just posturing to maybe give people an incentive to try to more aggressively find a position if there is one there, as of to just sit back and then just wait for that to run out. Now, another thing I want to touch on as well is that there's this campaign that's been going around right now with the Find Something New campaign, and I don't know if you guys have seen that or what you feel about that, and I don't want to dive into this politically at all, but I do want to say this, is that most people who have jobs, who have lost their jobs, are in a field or an industry that they probably have spent a lot of time in. And it's not easy, and it certainly isn't easy when someone has been unemployed to tell them to just find something new. The last time that I checked, employers want to know that you have previous job experience. And so if you've been a waiter and you've been a good waiter for years and then telling someone to go into administrative work, that's going to be kind of hard to do just off the fly. And so I'm not on board with the Find Something New campaign. I think that Congress and the government as a whole need to do a better job of finding ways and incentivizing companies to create jobs and to ensure that people can have a safe and smoother transition to get back into the workforce. So that's my little disclaimer there. Now, with that, we've already identified that the second stimulus check is not going to be recurring, but it is likely coming. What we also know is going to be in the package is Congress is going to improve state and local aid. Now, why this is important and this benefits you guys is because a lot of the state and local levels are obviously where have been hit the hardest. And so that's going to provide additional funding for small businesses and provide additional incentives for businesses to not only hire workers but to ensure that they're kept on the payroll, because they're looking to offer tax incentive for businesses based on their payroll numbers. And so not only will companies be a lot more motivated to hire people, but they're also going to be more motivated to ensure that you stay on the payroll, that they don't just hire you and let you go a week or month later, then you worry about you being unemployed again. That doesn't look like that's going to happen. Now, there are some discussions about how much money Congress wants to provide to the state and local aid level, to the state and local levels. The Republicans want to only provide $30 billion to the state and local levels. This also includes opening up schools and so forth and small businesses, while Democrats are targeting something way larger, like 600% larger, $430 billion. So that's a ginormous discrepancy. They're not a few billion off. They're like 7 times off. So my guess is we're going to probably see somewhere maybe in the 150 billion. But again, that's just pure speculation. I don't think the Republicans are going to get that $30 billion that they just want to provide, especially if we want to get the economy off the ground aggressively. Now, back to the unemployment amount. So the Democrats had already passed that the HEROES Act back in the middle of May that they sent over to the Republicans to get the $600 a week unemployment extended. As of right now, they're saying they're not going to extend it, but I can't possibly see how they don't at least extend it or at least stagger it to some degree. I say that because a lot of Americans right now are still highly dependent upon that money. And although the funds have been distributed for the past 4 months, if you've been in the hole, or if you were behind, or if you had bills that you had to pay, which everyone does, and then that money actually goes very fast. And then telling someone that as of July 31st, and actually July 25th, if you are in the state of Texas and a lot of the other states, because the way the unemployment benefits work, it only accounts for the end of the week. And because the last final end of the week is on the 25th, then the days after that go into August, and then the unemployment account, so it doesn't factor that in. So they're not even going to be getting a full unemployment month for the additional $600. And so what I think needs to happen right now is Congress needs to finish up at the drawing board and figure out a way to stagger the unemployment amount. There have been some discussions. One of them was proposed by Senator Rob Portman of Ohio. He's a Republican, mind you, so which is kind of a good thing, because they tend to toe the same party lines. He proposed a $450 a week cash return to work bonus. And so what that does is that it's probably one of those things to where maybe they will lower the unemployment amount or stagger it to $450, $500 a week, but then, or maybe they'll even do it less, but then they'll give you a higher incentive to return back to work. So maybe they cut it to $300 a week, which is some of the things I'm hearing right now. Right, so that'll still be an additional $1,200. So not enough to where you have no incentive, which most people have incentive to go back to work, but not enough to where it's just like, hey, I'm sitting here drinking margaritas, at home playing video games, which most people I know aren't doing. But it's also enough to where you're still able to provide and pay for your bills and hopefully keep a roof over the head until you can transition to the workforce. And so, $450 a week cash return to work bonus is what they're discussing. And that's probably what they're going to do. So the fact that the Republicans have brought that number up pretty much tells you that they're going to put something like that into the package. Now, what are some of the things that are not going to be in the package? At least highly not likely in the package, at least from what we're hearing. Well, there's the payroll tax cut that Donald Trump championed a while back. His pro-growth plan to help stimulate the economy, and that was just pretty much a certain number of people were on the payroll. They were going to give them a tax cut based on the amount of people that they hired. That's not going to be on there. At least I should say at least the rumblings are that they're not going to be. Doesn't mean that it isn't, but just as of right now, it doesn't appear to be. A really big one that I hope that they end up putting on here, at least to some capacity, the Democrats passed their HEROES Act, back in May, and that had student loan forgiveness up to $10,000, which I think was a tremendous boost to the economy and to students and citizens. And so there's a lot of talk right now that that's not going to be in the second package. Now, this would help borrowers tremendously who are struggling financially pay off a lot of the student loans. I'm can assure you that every single person has a student loan is on board with that. So I think it would be great and would behoove them to add that into the final package. But there's a lot of rumblings that are saying that that's not going to take place. So we have to wait and see to the final package. But as of right now, that may not be on the table. Another thing that may not be on the table from what we're seeing is the infrastructure plan. So President Trump and the Senate Democrats, they both agree that there needs to be, infrastructure in place. So now this goes into, having better roads, better bus systems, better train systems, things to help people get back and forth to work easier and reduces the stress load pretty much on large cities and people just, getting back and forth to work. And so they're just pretty much saying that the amount of money that needs to be put into that is very large, and so they're not going to do it, which still kind of goes back to my point. I mean, you have to do it at some point, right? So I don't know how I feel about that one. It's like taking a shower. Okay, we don't have time to do it. You got to take a shower, right? I mean, you got to keep the basic maintenance things upkept, and so infrastructure is highly important. It's the sign of any first world advanced country. If you guys go to any other, if you travel abroad a lot, then you will notice that a lot of people in a lot of countries have advanced infrastructure systems. And so, that's a sign of a first world country. You have to do it. $4,000 travel bonus. There's a lot of talk that's been going back and forth about a travel bonus of $4,000. So people who want to start traveling and just going abroad, or just kind of even going back state to state, that the government was going to give you a tax incentive for $4,000. Excuse me. At the end of the year for your tax breaks. But as of right now, it looks as though that they're not going to do that. At least that's the rumblings. Now, in terms of the final thoughts, Senate Republicans, they're targeting a new stimulus close to $1.3 trillion. The Democrats is targeting a stimulus in the amount of $3 trillion. That is literally, over double the amount that the Republicans have. And so, at the end of the day, somebody wants 3, somebody wants 1. You meet them in the middle, you go with 2. So there's a high probability that this stimulus package is going to be closer to $2 trillion. At least that's my likely guess. Now, again, the Senate comes back, Congress comes back off of recess next week. Everyone is waiting to find out what the final numbers are going to be. My guess is that they probably already have this completed on the back end. It just hasn't been made official yet, and they haven't officially signed it into law. So please be on the lookout. I will be making a video probably tomorrow, maybe even over the weekend, if anything new changes or if there's any more recent updates. I want to make sure that I'm providing you guys actual, real, valid content and not just making videos on a regular basis to get views, but I'm actually providing you content and substance that you can actually appreciate and value, that makes you want to subscribe to the channel. So I am trying to make sure that I stay, very consistent with that. So I hope you guys can appreciate that. Now, if you are new to the channel, I do highly recommend that you guys first thing you need to do is hit the like button, because if you've gotten this far, then I thank you for watching. The second thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Now, what this channel is, and if you guys haven't already taken a look, if you're new, is this is a financial education channel, but it's also a financial news channel as well. And so here we discuss the stock market movements, we discuss financial education, financial literacy, just basically things that you're not taught even in school. Right, so how to manage your money, the important things of credit, and also a lot of financial news. Anything going on with laws or things that can help improve you guys' life, I talk about that here. And right now, one of the most important things is the stimulus package. And so I'm trying to stay up to breast with this, trying to stay up to date. I want to make sure that I give you guys the most latest content, the cutting edge content, as soon as the latest information comes out or we get a finalization on the package. I will be uploading the video here, so please make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when those videos get created. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Hopefully you found this content valuable, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.